After getting commissioned in 2010, I joined the Military Intelligence Corps. I served for 10 years. I'm qualified in Pashto, which is the national language of Afghanistan. I've served in JNK, I've served in Udhampur. How the Pahalgam attack has happened. I'm sure there was enough input. I exactly remember post Pathankot also the scenario was same. It was seen as an intelligence failure. Government has decided that we have to de-escalate our presence to bring normalcy. Where we are trying to promote tourism, he was a Pakistani by origin and convicted for crossing over illegally. We are in strong deficit of nationalist mindset.
Our guest today on the Crazy Careers podcast is Major Nithi. She is an awarded army veteran with over a decade of experience in military intelligence and leadership, a passionate mentor, TEDx speaker, and adventurer. Major Nithi brings unique insights on discipline, purpose, and resilience. In this episode, we explore her journey from army life to mentoring future leaders and how intelligence skills shape success beyond the battlefield. Hello, Major Neeti. Thank you so much for joining us in today, and I welcome you to the Crazy Careers podcast.
Thank you, Nita. It's equally a pleasure for me.
So, before we begin the intense conversation, I would say, because you have an army background, so would you mind letting us know a bit about yourself, your journey so far, and the work that you do currently?
Sure. So I got commissioned in 2010. 2009 was when I joined the academy. The Officers Training Academy Chennai has 11 months of training now. And we were the initial batches who were exposed to this duration of training. So I was third batch of the CDS entry. And after getting commissioned in 2010, I joined the Military Intelligence Corps. And the journey has been beautiful in the army, no doubt about that. Military intelligence is a dynamic field, and my father was also in the army. That's where the inspiration comes from, and I also chose to take the same path.
Right.
I joined after my master's. I am master's in microbiology, and after joining army, I pursued my MPhil in defense and strategic studies.
Wow.
I served for 10 years, and in these 10 years, I traveled at least the upper periphery of India, I can say. I was posted at Tezpur, Assam, twice, first posting as well as my last posting.
Oh, wow.
I am qualified in Pashto, which is the national language of Afghanistan. So my specialization is interpreting the language and understanding the dynamics of the Western Front. I've served in JNK, I've served in Udhampur, I've served in Punjab, I was posted in Amritsar. So, yes, that has been my exposure in 10 years. I took release in 2020. Thereafter, I have had my own fair share of exploration, I would say.
Yeah.
I was initially working with a risk management firm as a consultant in intelligence analysis and business. And thereafter, I have helped a couple of brands also to, as a strategic advisor. So, with that little stint in the corporate, I stepped out and took the path of yoga. So, I have been in yoga and well being for a while. And this year, I have transitioned to mentorship, to nonverbal communication, utilizing nonverbal communication for personal growth, as well as assisting institutions how they can utilize nonverbal communication. Because I believe that information is power, and we give lot of information even before we utter a word. So that's where my most of my expertise in the army has been. That was my exposure. So yeah,
Right.
I thought let me put it to use now.
Yes, you are in the phase of giving back to the society. So,
Yes. Yes.
so you served military intelligence like for more than a decade. So, how does a day look like in that role? Is it something similar to what we see in Bollywood movies?
Well, I would say bit, it's a Bollywood movie gives you an introduction to how the life is. Uh, as it does in many other military movies, I would say what they show, and that's just an element. But the real fight, the real struggle is everyday affairs, how you are handling administration, how you are looking, because you would be going for an interrogation or an investigation, and suddenly there will be a requirement in your unit also. So, a lot of dynamic activities. So, generally, if you see in movies, also they show how an infantry battalion, the day starts with the PT and this and that, and weapon training and this that. In intelligence setup, it's little different. It's very dynamic. You don't know that aaj subah, if you get up, what will you be doing? You really don't know. Say something like how the Pahalgam attack has happened.
Yeah.
So in such a scenario, I was in Amritsar when the Pathankot attack happened. So I exactly know what the army is going through, what the intelligence setup would be going through right now, and not just right now. Even before the attack was to happen, I'm sure there was enough input, and so a lot of investment goes into the buildup of intelligence also. When we talk of intelligence, it's a cycle. Starts with what is the aim or the mission of your higher commander. What do they intend to do, and from that we derive what we have to acquire of intelligence, and then we put it through an analysis that do we need this information or not, and whatever is needed we sift it out, and whatever is not needed we keep it at the back as a background information, and then it goes through interpretation, that what exactly is being interpreted there, what does it convey, have there been incidents like that in the past, and what were the actions, where were the gaps, so that synthesis happens, and then finally we share it with the different organizations also, and different battalions also. So that's a going cyclic process. If nothing is happening, then also an intelligencer is on the roll 24/7, meeting sources, meeting their contacts, creating the necessary network, so that they always have the flow of information.
Right, right. So there is never an off day in intelligence.
Not at all. As it is in the army, there are no Saturdays, there are no weekends.
Yeah.
I don't know how our audience is aware or not, but the leave, what they see, which looks very lucrative also, is given in lieu for all these Sundays and holidays. So the 80 days or 90 days leave that they are seeing is in lieu of all the holidays that at
Then
that
I must say that corporate guys should stop creeping. Because,
Precisely.
yeah.
Because suppose a unit is training for 72 hours mobilization, or say scenario like this, when post-attack analysis is going on, what we have to do. There's so much hustle going on. And I exactly remember post Pathankot also the scenario was same. Uh, Post Uri the scenario was same. uh, there's so much planning, so many security measures that need to be taken to ensure that internal security is not further disturbed, and that's not an easy job. So we are always on the toes, always on the toes.
Right. Before I ask you the next question, I am not qualified to ask this question, but I'm just asking as a general perspective of this. Uh, in recent Pahalgam attack, do you think that there was a lag in the intelligence in our intelligence department?
Very good question, Nita, and I'm so glad you asked this. I'm going to post something on this also soon, because this is a question which has glaringly come up, and it comes up in every attack. When
Yeah.
Riyasi happened, or before that, Pulwama happened, and let's take all the attacks that have happened so far.
Yeah.
First aspect is intelligence failure. Let's look at this terminology. When we failure of an intelligence, we are not just talking of the inputs that have been shared. We are talking failure on part of the entire mechanism which had to deliver a certain requirement, a certain action, a certain protection, prevention, whatever security measure based on the inputs that have been shared. Knowing and having worked with our present system of intelligence, whether it is army or all the other agencies, one thing I can assure you, the communication is very seamless. And thanks to the Kargil conflict, it was thereafter that the multi-agency center called MAC was established at the center level, and the state level multi-agency centers called the SMAC was established at the state levels. So there has been very seamless communication happening. If I refer to what happened during Pathankot also, it was seen as an intelligence failure, but let me assure you, there was so much of timely intelligence that something worse could have happened. So we should always take intelligence with that pinch of salt, that it is not the failure of an entire setup which has been working so far. There are many aspects to it. Let us look at that why Pahalgam didn't have the security setup in the first place.
Yes.
When the government has decided that we have to de-escalate our presence to bring normalcy, and there is no right or wrong in this approach. There are many such scenarios in the past also where different governance of different countries, to establish normalcy, they generally de-escalate the military presence. Because sometimes, and I being a military kid, I can say with lot of conviction, Nita, as a kid, I've visited Pahalgam. I've been to these places, and when you go there with so much high militarized security, you don't enjoy that place. You're not enjoying the beauty of that place. You're looking everybody with a suspicion.
Yeah.
Understood.
That's
So
true.
when the scenario has that coldness, you will not enjoy that place. And where we are trying to promote tourism, we are trying to establish normalcy, and we should grant to the government, okay, they might have tried an approach, and probably the effort of the adversary is to make it fail. They are not looking at all to let it succeed, because they know for sure, if the youth of Kashmir are back to the normal, their normal lives, if the local people are back to normal lives, then the place will flourish, and the adversaries won't have any other way to get back Kashmir, which they have been eyeing so many years.
Yeah.
So all that in place, it's very easy to lament it as intelligence failure or a security negligence. I strongly feel there is none of those. There are many other layers to the whole scenario, which I think so. As an intelligencer, I am capable of sharing it only from the point of functioning of intelligence agencies. The political decision making and all is not something which presently I am privy to also.
You have trained soldiers in body language and also handwriting analysis and many more. So, what are your pointers by which you can identify if the person is lying or not?
Okay, so this is something which I have observed, that whenever we talk of body language, and whenever I mentor people also, the first attempt is to learn tricks to detect lies. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are many aspects of lie detection, and why? I mean, it's seen from that space of mysticism and mystery, that I'll be able to detect everything about an individual. Well, that might not be the case always.
Yeah.
But talking of lie detection, there are many elements. Firstly, eye movements, they tell a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
Movement of the legs can tell you a lot. Any other particular gesture which is out of place. So, what does that mean? Any individual, if we are putting them through a scan, a body language scan, so we have to see there what are the normal gestures that they do.
Yeah.
We as Indians have very different gestures, more or less, compared to somebody from US. Their way of
Yes.
talking, their way of gesturing will be different, and a lot of it comes from our cultures also. right? For example, you will see US people sitting cross-legged, correct?
Yeah.
But in Indian parlance, we also are used to sitting on floor, you know. So if you say, and I see many people sitting cross-legged, the way we sit on a floor, sitting like that on a sofa. So the interpretation is very different, right? But in case of lie detection, eye movements are a quick giveaway. If the person has been, say, suppose somebody has been talking to you, and there's a sudden eye movement when you ask a particular query, or you talk about a certain person or an incident, and you can notice that eye movement or change in voice modulation also.
Right.
Okay, or any of the pacifying behaviors. So suppose they are touching their neck and they are trying to ease out themselves, or maybe doing these things. So what it gives us, it the person is uncomfortable to talk about that subject, nervous, and maybe later on when you keep observing, you will be able to realize that the person has been lying about it or manipulating that particular thing. So there are many aspects of the body language when we understand. We observe the eye movement, we observe the gestures I just told you about, and a very important giveaway is also the feet.
Right.
So the movement of feet, unnecessary nervous movements, shaking of the legs, shaking, with the legs. So these are certain movements that also give away about what the person is thinking, or is he trying to manipulate the question.
Right. Does that handwriting also change? Like if we are lying and we are some suspicious writings we are doing, then does that handwriting also change from our normal handwriting?
The nature of the handwriting may not change so easily, but the sentence length changes. So we have something called as mean length of sentence, and when you study mean length sentence analysis, MLS analysis, you can make out that the person is manipulating.
Right.
Come to a conclusion that something is a lie, we would need some more background information about that query. But yes,
Right.
you can easily understand. Also, handwriting can tell about people who have the ability to cheat at various levels, whether financially, whether in relationships, or whether to put forward a very flamboyant face, but in the truth they are something else. So these aspects of a personality are also detectable in handwriting.
Right, right. So, what is some of your intense interrogation that you like had during your stint in Indian Army?
Um, I got a good exposure of them when I was posted at Amritsar, and
Okay.
there have been many challenging ones, of course. Um, it becomes more challenging when you have to question. So we have different types of interrogation, also, Nita. There is questioning happening. There is also some quick debriefing happening, and there are detailed interrogations, which generally are taking place as part of a committee called the Joint Interrogation Committee. So, in a scenario like, say, the Pahalgam attack, let me refer to the Pathankot attack. During Pathankot attack, similarly, the investigation was handed over to NIA, and that time many people were apprehended. So whenever such suspicions are brought up and suspects are interrogated, when we say interrogated, that means it's a more detailed questioning which is happening.
Right.
Unlike a quick or a preliminary questioning where you are trying to ascertain some very basic facts about that incident and the individual. So and debriefing is something we do when we are questioning our own people,
Yeah.
our country people, our local,
Mhm.
or our sources, and maybe you are working on something and suddenly you felt that, okay, this individual might be knowing something. Okay, let me speak to him and try to understand what it is. So there are many variations in interrogations. So if you ask me that which was the most intense one, I think so. There was this very hardliner individual. He was a Pakistani by origin, and convicted for crossing over. illegally, and I think so that was one of the most intense one, because when you are interacting or interrogating something who's so conditioned, it's very you really have to invest a lot in breaking the conditioning of the mind. Ultimately, interrogation or any kind of questioning is the battle of psychology, the battle of two minds. So, and I think so. Every questioning is a, if you go with that approach that every questioning is gonna reveal something new about this technique, take it as a challenge. Um, you will realize that even the simplest looking convicts could be some very hardline criminals. So there are many. So there's nothing sacrosanct that this one is the most difficult or this is
Yeah.
easier, because every individual, uh, when you are put in a situation of conviction, you become defensive and you battle it out. So I think so we should give away to the suspects also that they have all the rights to battle themselves and defend themselves, whether
Right.
right or wrong.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that you were in Pathankot during that attack. So, what happened like after the attack, and then you guys got the information? So, how was it? Like, how intense it was?
It was
For
very
for the intense,
interesting.
but then how it was at your part?
So at our part, what happens, a post-attack scenario is, especially I would start when the attack is going on. Uh,
Mhm.
and something like Pathankot, where, it's like a proper operation happening for a long time, a long
Yeah.
duration. In such scenarios, it is constant gathering of information, relaying it to the necessary authorities, seeing what actions to be taken care. And since I was in Amritsar, we had to take care of things at our garrison. There
Yeah.
should not be a spillover effect. There was also panic mode. This is what I had spoken in a reel yesterday, that we should not go into a panic mode. And I mean, we witnessed that because of that, there were many fake reportings, you know,
Yes.
or I would say misinterpreted reportings, that a lone vehicle was found here and here. A lone vehicle is so that scare has been created. There was hallucination. People were hallucinating movements. Something is happening in the paddy field, and or the wheat. So this kind of a panic mode is something the general population should not get into. And that constant fear that there might be a war, and most of the border villages actually go through that fear so many number of times. And plan an evacuation, take into consideration the civil administration. There are many elements playing, so you are 24/7 into role, so you have to be updated, and you have to keep your sources of information active all throughout, and ensure that people are not falling prey to misinformation. That's another big task that we as intelligence agencies and law enforcement agencies have. And then there is also this spillover effect of um, mob mentality. You see somebody from the same community, you just pick arms and you just start hitting. And this is so common in such belts where weapon and ammunition are available illegally so easily at a drop of a hat. So there are many elements, and it was very difficult for us at that time also. And with technology gaining so much spaces in our life, it is only becoming more and more challenging for the agencies. You must have heard there were a couple of arrests. One happened in Jharkhand, another at another place.
Mhm.
So, what is all this happening? This is lack of education. This is lack of, somewhere we as a social fabric need to look into
Yeah.
ourselves again. What are we doing?
So, do you ever feel like going back to Indian Army, or Indian Army does it have a provision to take up like retired persons again in some kind of mission in future?
Not really, but when we leave the army, say
Mhm.
I left in 2020. So after that,
Mhm.
for a period of 3 years, you are in the reservist list. That means that anytime you can be called back in a scenario of, where the country needs you. And apart from that, we might not be directly involved in activities by the Indian Army after retirement, but as a veteran, there is a proper established veteran cell which looks in employing their veterans in a better structure, whether it is corporate, whether it is non-governmental agencies, or whether it is private sector, wherever it is. But I would see wherever a veteran is going is only contributing to the nation. That is the
Yeah.
first thing which I have noticed. That's always
That's good.
yeah. So, but if there is a requirement, the army can always, if the supreme commander desires that all those healthy and fit veterans are needed for a particular task, then by all means, we have taken the oath that we'll serve the constitution, the country till the peril of our life. So we have to do that.
Right. This question is really close to my heart because after the Pahalgam attack happened, it took almost 12 hours for so called influencers to at least do a post on their storyline. And I have seen that you are the only person, I would say, that you have raised that question like, where are they? Why they are not posting about it? Even I have seen that. So, what is your opinion on that? Like, do you think like we are really sensitive to all the international issues because we think that we will be getting more visibility and likes through that? And we are not even like empathetic or even oh, I don't know, I don't have that word, like we are not empathetic for our own issues.
We are in strong deficit of nationalist mindset. There's no doubt about it. Um, and most of the when I say influencers, I am talking of people who have been acknowledged to be as an influencer by the government of India to begin with. Okay, otherwise today though you do some weird kind of dance and you have 100K followers and you are an influencer. That's what people think influencers are. Whereas I feel that an influencer has a very responsible role to play in the society. uh, let's be honest, even when social media wasn't there, we had names who would influence us, who were playing influencing roles, especially through art, through media, through Bollywood, through poetry, through writing, all those things. So influencing has been all throughout there, through different sources. Uh, but social media has just made it more easy, and I feel that one is lack of national deficit, that nationalist thought process, that nation first, and secondly, the commercialization. Everything is commercialization. Today, you remove commercialization from social media, and we see that do people still want to be influencers or still want to bring a change, you know. And third thing is we are having an intellectual paralysis, if you ask me. We read few books and we think that we are intellectual. Now, today, let's take this attack itself. Everybody has an opinion about this attack and should have. As an Indian, as a citizen, you must have. But here are a set of people who don't want to even put it across unless they get some monetary gains. That is where it pinches me.
Yeah.
I mean, as citizens, as matured adults, we should be open to discussion. However irrational or rational the thought process may be. If somebody is saying that, if somebody is speaking for it, if somebody is speaking against it, if somebody holds a secular or a neutral opinion, every citizen, that's what is the beauty of democracy. Unless we get all these perspectives, we those people who are in the decision making matrix will never understand or never get to know the actual sentiments of the ground, and it matters in decision making. And we have this hyper nationalists also. Let's go for a war. I mean, do you really think let's go for a war? Because you aren't going to fight. It's against somebody else who will die. You're creating a ruckus out of the whole thing just to, maybe to vent out. personally. I see at that the most, sometimes as political gains. So there are different personal, but this woke culture is on a high. This unless I see again, I'm not going to. And I was so disappointed yesterday. You won't believe this, that one of the influencers, and I don't want to name, after 3 days has posted about the topic only after creating a podcast so that he or she gets the necessary views. I mean, at this point also it is more important for you to look aesthetically pleasing, and it's more important for you to, you want to show that you have consumed everything and composed, and you are now putting it across in the manner you are supposed to do because you are a podcaster.
Yeah, you're talking about whom I know. Yeah.
So this is
I think there is some reel coming up. Some date in that podcast is being announced, like May 25. Not sure if something is going to happen in May 25 and all. So all these things are just for views. I'll tell you, even now when I'm asking you the question about Pahalgam, I'm like, I'll just burst into tears. So
exactly.
that kind of empathy should be there. Yeah.
All those people who are going on the extremes, whether speaking against a religion or going for a religion, all of us need to compose our emotions. This is a time of mourning. This is the time of empathizing with the families. This is not the time for us to do that, and have faith on your governance. Good, bad, indifferent, you have chosen it. Period.
Yeah.
It starts there, it ends there. Now that you have done it, let it do its job. At
Yeah.
least don't teach army what it is supposed to do. Okay. All these years when our soldiers were dying in the same valley, you were not bothered for a minute. Now the concern rise because now it is like it is hitting us. Why? Why it has taken us so long? Why that understanding didn't come when Pulwama happened? Why did that understanding didn't come when in 2010 there was a massive stone pelting done in Kashmir? So many soldiers were stoned to death. Can you believe this? Stoned to death. By the way, Alay Hadith talks about stoning to death. You know, when kuffars, when kuffars are there, and you need to punish them, then stoning to death is one of the punishments they give. So there are so many aspects of this entire. Kashmir is a very sensitive issue. Those people talking about that, they are supporting the cause. See, they have protested 100%. The Kashmiris have protested. But I want to ask, from which lens? As a tourist or a brother Indian has died? Is a question to see. And that's why I came up with the Black Ribbon Circle. It's a small initiative I've just started, and I'm still building conceptually on it. The whole aim is that we should learn, we should train ourselves to defeat fear, which comes in whatever form and disrupts our harmony as a country. So there will always be such elements who would want to disrupt the harmony of a country. It's on us as the countrymen. What are we doing to not go into a situation of fear, fight it boldly, and destroy terror? Terror will not always come in the form we are thinking. It's not always going to be a 9/11 or a 26/11. It
Yeah.
will look like Riyasi, it will look like Pahalgam, it might look something else. Who knows? Something like the medical college case tomorrow.
Yeah.
God forbid. I mean, we don't know what form it is going to take. And let us understand, all this is done by our beautiful neighbor because they want that alienation of Kashmir to continue. And we are precisely doing that. It's okay. Yes, it's a beautiful part of our country, undoubtedly. But it is one of the beautiful part of the country. The entire country is beautiful.
That's true.
Right. So we have alienized it as special, and it is something different. Yes, the generation of local populace has gone through a lot of trauma. There's no doubt about it. For decades, they have only seen this. And you think you will be able to remove it in 1 year? At the same time, if the governance is trying something, at least
Yeah.
take that one step. go ahead with one step. So it's empathy that is needed, not sympathy. Very bizarre video of few ladies just to prove the normalcy of the place.
Yes, I have
जैसे
seen
कुछ
that.
नहीं हुआ, बस कुछ लोग ये तो छोटा मोटा चलता रहता
I
है.
mean, this is
It's trying
something
to
I don't know even like how people are posting it because this is something to get shamed of, and I mean, other countries must be laughing at us while looking at
absolutely,
the video.
no doubt. They will say, "What kind of fools are these people? They never pull
Yeah.
up well with themselves, and they are trying to become global powers."
That's why I always say this like, we have to take information, we have to take right information, and we have to educate ourselves before we speak. So, this should be a fundamental responsibility of each and every influencer or whoever is available on social media. Because people are looking at you, people, even social media, I'm talking about like those who are having 1,000 followers also. Whatever you speak, that is your responsibility area. So you have to be first 100% sure before you speak or do anything or upload anything. So that's how I think it is also directly related to the country's progress. So when you have a group of people in social media who are talking sense, then obviously that country's level will go up automatically.
Precisely, precisely. And any ideology, if it doesn't allow you to be human, then I think so you should just drop that ideology. But,
Yes.
and this is all hedonist approach. Unless it happens to me, why should I worry? This is all very hedonist
Mm.
approach that we have taken.
Yeah.
Today, the generation is more into okay, self love, self care, self compassion is fine, but can't you mourn for a family? I'm not okay. Some people will say, "What is this show off?" No, it's not show off. If
Yeah.
somebody in your family dies, that too in such a horrific incident, won't you mourn? You will. So, what has gone wrong with all of us? We might have to see. We haven't learned it even after COVID. It is very sad to see that.
Right. So, from climbing to Annapurna Base Camp to being featured in various media platforms. So, how do you keep yourself motivated? And also, I want to add one question. कभी आपको ऐसा लगा है like enough? I have done a lot for myself. I have done a lot for my society, my country. Now I should chill and take rest.
This is a thought I get every single day. That no, like
Quite genuine.
today we are recording it on a Sunday, and I'm like, why, Niti? Why you have to do that? But then there is this very strong part of me, and I think so. It comes from this very word, and I'm a great fan of this word. Great. This word it doesn't just give me the motivation to keep going, but it also gives me all possible types of strength to keep going. It grit helps me to add that purpose to my life. And I feel that it is very important to add as many dimensions of exposure to our life. Who knows the next one? इसको तो हम अच्छे से जी लेना. Like we should live this one the best.
Yeah.
Right? So explore more. And for me, the definition of exploration is having conversations with people, meeting new people, and of course exploring new places. I'm not a great fan of traveling abroad. You'll be amazed. I haven't gone anywhere apart from Nepal yet. First,
Okay.
because of my job role, and second,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I don't get. I feel there's so much in our country to explore.
That's again an inspiration that you're giving to people who are watching. That's harm going abroad. Then yes, if you have a lot of things here in our country itself.
Yeah. Yes, yes. And if you are committed to certain projects where you are working on, bringing the best of the country and its people, I think so. You are invested well enough for a lifetime, because mentoring, if you notice, I talk about more of mentoring rather than coaching. I don't believe in the concept of coaching. I believe
Yeah.
mentoring is the hand holding that people need. And especially in a domain like mine, where people would love to know how to enhance their body language or how to enhance their communication and add value to their conversations and add value to their job, to whatever they are doing for the society. And especially when you are dealing with youth, you have to be very careful, very careful. I almost every day I get a message, ma'am. This is the post I was looking forward to, and you just made my day. So when I get such messages, I'm like, I have to be very very mindful of what I'm putting across there. Very mindful.
Major Neeti, thank you so much for joining us in today.
Pleasure is all mine, Neeta.